1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We have now passed the half-year mark. We are in episode 27 of the TMCJ podcast. And I am fit to bursting with excitement to talk about our first topic.
Yeah, it's been a
hilarious week.
it's been an awful week, but yeah. Go, Kaiser, go.
All right. I should preface this by saying that if you're listening on YouTube, you'll hear about this on Monday. But if you're listening to this on any of the audio formats or in the complete podcast, you'll be hearing about this more than a week late. Essentially, something crazy happened between Reddit and Wall Street this week, which is a weird statement in and of itself. But essentially, to give some background, there's a Reddit forum called Wall Street Bets, and essentially it's just random layman investors trading like just either decent advice. Some of them are well thought out. Some of them just shit posts pretty much. One of them pointed out that a few massive hedge funds had overshorted a few failing stocks. To those who don't know much about investing, shorting a stock is where you essentially sell a stock that you don't own and then buy it later. So you're essentially betting that the price will go down. It's perfectly legal, but they were shorting the stock at a massive percentage. They shorted, I think, with GameStop, in the case of GameStop, because that was the stock that most of this centered around. They shorted the stock at something very near, I want to say it was 140%. That means that they sold, before they owned, 100% of the stock that was out there, and then another 40% beyond that. And, it's basically a tactic by these larger hedge funds to try and, push the value down. Because if they're shorting it that much, a lot of people are going to panic, dump their stock, and then they can, make the profit on the short. The company fails, and whatever. Someone on this Reddit forum noticed this, because that's publicly available information, how much a stock has been shorted. And then was like, it would be funny if we all bought this, because they're going to have to buy it multiple times from us anyway. And with shorting a stock, your losses can be infinite, because you can have... people can, drive the price up. If the price goes high enough, you could lose tons and tons of money, and that's exactly what happened. The internet collectively got together and decided to fuck over these people who had done this, and they bought... It started off as like a decent financial decision. Buy this stock, hold on to it, because eventually they're going to be forced to buy it from you, and you're going to probably make some money, and they'll lose some money because they made a bad bet. It then kind of became, political, but not in the messy political way that most people mean these days. It became kind of a poor man versus the rich man kind of situation, and not But not even that, because even Elon Musk was jumping on board with this thing, and I think his post was game stonk, and it ballooned. GameStop's shares went from something like $10 a share up to $500 in a matter of days. I will admit, I got on board with this. I bought in when it was around $300 a share. And I'm still holding on to it because this rodeo is not over yet. But it is just one of the most ridiculous fucking things. The logic behind it made good financial sense. If you see a stock is shorted to that extent, then buying it and holding on to it for a bit until it rebounds and then eventually has to go higher because they need to buy all of it to cover the shorts, that's a decent decision in terms of stock trading. Now, then it got even weirder because after the stock ballooned up to around $500, a few key investing apps, Robinhood being one of them, TD Ameritrade I think was another one, they banned the buying of GameStop, but not the selling, which means that it was guaranteed to go down. And somehow, this is one of the most.
Hello? Fuck, I think I've lost Kaiser.
Oh.
Hello, there we go, I hear you.
Oh my god. I don't know what was happening. What is going on here?
I don't know.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah, you keep... Ooh, fuck. Ow. Okay, I think I can hear you again.
Hello, hello, hello,
Yep,
hello.
yep, I hear you.
Okay, there we go. I don't know what was going on because I looked at Audacity, and it suddenly lost my mic connection too.
Huh.
Like I just there was no audio going in.
Oh god, I'm dying as well now.
All right, what was the last thing you heard me say? Technical difficulties here. I may edit that out in post, but
okay, so you said they stopped people from being able to buy, but they could still sell.
Right,
so
which
it had to go down.
Yeah, which was a guarantee that the stock price was going to decrease. Now these apps have had lawsuits leveled against them because it's essentially market manipulation, which ironically is what they were accusing the fucking dumbasses on Reddit of doing. Oh, and now politicians are getting involved, and you've got...
Yay.
Yeah, it's just... They eventually did open up trading. There was one trading app that banned buying and selling, and that one made sense. They actually had some logic behind that, because...
We're gonna freeze the assets, kind of thing.
Well, because they're... The firm... Like, when you purchase or sell a trade, what happens, or a stock, is it goes through whatever... brokerage you're using. Then it goes to a clearinghouse, which it waits for a little bit, does the actual exchange, verifies the money's there, and then you either get your money or you get your stock. But trades happen more rapidly now. So the clearinghouse essentially has to have collateral in hand to cover that trade. Normally the collateral is only like something like 10 to 20% of the value of the stock, or maybe less. I don't remember. I heard somebody else talking about this. Take this all with a grain of salt. I feel like I should specify that we are not in any way qualified to talk about this.
Yeah,
Like,
tick that bingo box. You've got it.
we are not in any way qualified to give financial advice or to talk about this. This is a layman's understanding from me. So my understanding is that this house, when they stopped it, the clearinghouse on the back end, they need to have a certain amount of collateral so they can guarantee the trade. Unfortunately, this was changing like value so quickly on, I think it was Thursday. They literally, the collateral needed was raised to 100% the value of the stock. So suddenly these brokerages needed like literally billions of dollars to cover all of the trades that were going on. GameStop at one point was it was the most highly valued company. It was worth more than Apple and Tesla. It was the most traded stock in the world on Thursday. Or maybe it was Wednesday, one of those days. So it got ridiculous. So that at least makes a little bit of sense. What people are pointing out is that if you need collateral for any sort of trade, why was only buying banned on some of these apps? So that's the that's kind of the controversy that came out of this. Now you get politicians jumping in and saying, "Oh, we need more regulation," and then you have other politicians jumping in and saying stuff like, "It's like
it's over controlled and stuff like that." Yeah.
Well, there's been a few. Some of the more populist people in the U.S., both Democrat and Republican, coming out and saying, "Hey, you know what? You fuck these Wall Street guys. We don't need to help them. It's like these random people on the internet just followed the rules and caught them with their pants down, It's like the last time something like this happened was 2008 when, again, Wall Street crashed the economy. And you know what? They got bailed out. But so now now it's become more political because now it's people going, or people talking about pointing out the kind of the hypocrisy. It's like, if you can't make a house payment, does the bank close until you can get your money together? No, it doesn't. They just take your house. But now, because these hedge funds are losing fuckloads of money, they closed trading, essentially, or heavily restricted it so they could get their shit together. It's... The hypocrisy has now made this a more political issue. Before, it was just like... First, it was a financial tip, then it was a goofy meme, and now it's become almost a crusade.
Yeah.
So that's the very long-winded explanation. I'd love to hear your thoughts at this point.
My thoughts, okay. The economy on RuneScape makes more sense to me. Okay, so I know everyone. There's a big split of people. Most of them are on the side of doing stocks and shares isn't gambling, but I kind of think it is a bit. And this is a particular example where it was more of a gamble. Like, what started all this was someone trying to cheekily edge past the rules, and they got caught on it, and now they're paying the price.
Yeah, that's a good approximation.
Normally, people don't consider stocks and shares gambling because most of the time it's a pretty certain chance that whatever you're bidding into is going to go up, right, in value.
Most...
If you're smart.
If you're smart. Like, all the financial information is public information. You can look it up. And there's plenty of publicly available experts who will kind of assess a company's financials. Does it look good? Does it look bad? There's always risk. Because, like, people... At the beginning of beginning of 2020, airlines were a good investment. And then the pandemic hit. Now they're a shit one. But... You go on. Yeah, that's a good assessment.
I was just gonna say, I remember back in my old job, a couple of my co-workers were arguing. One was big into the stock market, and the other was super anxious about the whole thing because they don't trust their money into something as intangible as stocks. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a midpoint between the two. If I know about a particular thing that's doing well or badly, then yeah, I would invest. But where it comes to something like GameStop, which obviously I have no idea about because it's American to start with, I don't think I would put my faith in the people of Reddit to make a decision for me.
Yeah, and that's a disclaimer that should be out there. In the... What was it? The description of that subreddit, like their intro description is, it's like if 4chan got a Bloomberg terminal.
Right.
And
what's a Bloomberg terminal?
Bloomberg is a financial institution.
Oh, okay.
And they do a lot of stock trading. So I agree. And I think that's the takeaway. That's kind of the...
Guys, I've lost you again. God fucking damn it.
Hello.
Yep,
Hello.
I can hear you. I hear you.
I don't know what is going on with this thing. I'm gonna need to
switch to your other mic.
I can't. I'm already recording on this one.
We'll try the other mic for the next segment, maybe.
No, I'm just gonna restart everything to try and get it working again. I don't know what's going on with this thing.
Okay.
This is really weird. When it cut out, I had just like bumped my desk. I'm wondering if there's a loose connection somewhere.
Yeah, loose cable.
Yeah. Sorry for the potentially bad audio quality from me on this segment.
The Professionalism is real.
Well, I mean, we've been doing this for half a year. It's time for all the equipment to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's sort of the point of that subreddit, though. It's a bunch of layman investors. You know, some of the ideas they give are sensible, some of the ideas they give are crazy, but that's what you know going in. I don't think anyone should be taking any... Like, at this point, it's become... When I say it's become like a crusade, we're beyond sensible. Like, there's a guy who made $20 million on GameStop stock. And he's holding on to it. He's holding on to it. He's not selling it because now it's become about sticking it to these hedge funds. The moment they tried to like shut down the market and whine to politicians and cry about how this is terrible for the poor billionaire investors. And the funny thing is, there's billionaires on the side of the fucking Reddit bros. Like, you got Elon Musk. There's a American-Canadian investor who's also a billionaire who threw a few $100,000 into it. And he's already said that, you know, when he comes out on the other end of this, if there's profit, he's going to donate it all to charity. Like, it's become like a genuine unifying moment, which is fascinating to me.
I mean, they're still going to make profit off of the fame of it all anyway. Like, it's not just the raw profit of...
Yeah, I mean, there's that too. It does something to their popularity.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that in Elon Musk's case, that guy is just... He's turning himself into some sort of semi-messianic Tony Stark figure.
Yeah, everyone likes the guy.
Yeah. Well, there's a few people who don't like him, but...
Well, yeah, there's a few. But, like, considering how many super rich people there are out there and how many people have animosity towards them.
Yeah.
And yet he seems like the kind of guy... He wouldn't be out of place, like, I don't know, flipping burgers at McDonald's, right? He had a nice conversation kind of thing. Pretty down-to-earth guy. Pun not intended. But yeah, no, he's this crazy Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne's a little bit more broody. That's why I compare him to Tony Stark, because he's always coming out with these He made a company just about digging holes in California.
Yeah.
He made a company that sells a flamethrower. And hats. Like... It's just... I don't even... That's why I go with, because he does seem to have this erratic and kind of sardonic sense of humor too. It just I've seen interviews with the guy and he just this wasn't supposed to be about him, but he's become a part of all this and he's hanging on for the long run. Who knows how much he's bought? But yeah, he's a billionaire meme lord. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, an inspiration for many.
Oh my god. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. I don't think I've laughed as hard or as long at anything since this all started. It's just been fucking hilarious from start to finish.
Nice.
Oh god.
Oh, you ready for another?
Yeah. I think
super political conversation.
I could totally like go on about this for hours just because I find it so fucking funny. The memes. Yeah. Oh no! One last thing before we go. The memes coming out of it are fucking hilarious. Did you saw the Warhammer 40K one?
Oh.
It was in.
I
it was in shenanigans.
About the sea shanty.
Oh, that's true. They also did make they made a sea shanty.
Oh, the orc one. Yeah.
But somebody posted this. The stock market works so, bit of nerdy lore from Warhammer 40K. The orcs are a faction in that universe, and basically their technology works because they believe it works, and the more of them believe it works, the better it'll work.
Yeah, we don't mean like praying or anything.
No, just like they think collectively as a species that if you paint a car red, it goes faster, and therefore, if they paint a car red, it will go faster.
Yeah.
And the more of them believe it, the faster it'll go. So this is the post. The stock market works exactly how Warhammer 40k orc vehicles are powered by the orcs believing that they work. And it's just a picture of an orc in, like just a black and white suit with a tie. And it's the fucking, like, stocks going up meme. This doesn't translate too well into an audio format, but I probably laughed for a good 10 minutes when I saw that.
Yeah. God, you gotta love the orcs.
They are...
No, I can't go into that. I can't go into this subject because it'll take us forever.
Okay. What was your topic?
Okay, there is a couple of YouTube videos that have been cropping up on my YouTube recently. And they kind of frustrate me. And it keeps coming up. And so I feel like I needed to bring this to the attention of our listeners. Because obviously it's so important that multiple people have made fucking videos about it. And that is the social curse that is apparently ManSpreading.
Right? Oh my god, well that's a throwback to 2015.
I'm getting so many fucking videos coming up on YouTube about it, and I don't understand why.
Why has that come back, like, from the dead? That was I remember seeing videos about people complaining about that.
Yeah, I think I actually
3 years
sent you
ago.
one, like, last month or something, because that's when it started. This like news person. I think it was fucking BuzzFeed.
Oh, of course it's fucking BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed is cancer.
I think it was, yeah. And they were on a New York subway or something, and they were going up to men who had their legs slightly open, and they were like, "Do you realize that you're manspreading right now?"
To which they responded, "Zip."
They were, they had a fucking camera on them. I feel so bad for them because they weren't even. It's not like they had a freaking gaping wide legs. Or anything. They weren't like pushing anyone else. They weren't particularly anyone else's space. They went up to like an old man and did this. And I'm like, what kind of asshole does that to an old man? Anyway. And what kind of tipped me over the edge with me wanting to talk about this on the podcast is because the last thing that came up was someone invented a chair to stop manspreading.
I saw... Oh, okay, this I think I've seen.
And also a chair to make women manspread, which is just so fucking weird. Okay, so it's not a... You alright?
I'm just trying to think how that isn't like something you'd find in a fucking sex dungeon.
It's just weird. Like, why would you... If you're trying to stop people from spreading their legs, why are you trying to make women spread that? I mean, maybe it's just an ingenious plot by a guy who's very...
Well, it's like how the... What was it? The push-up bra was invented by a guy, you know?
Oh, right.
Well, I think... But no, I think it's... The last bit, the whole make women spread their legs thing, is just a... It's... In all likelihood, it's probably like a feminist vengeance sort of thing. There's...
Well, I'd like to say these chairs were made by a guy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were.
To prevent people from that. So, first of all, for people who have no idea what the fuck we're talking about, which should be the vast majority of the population, because it's an absolutely retarded idea. I was trying to find another word, but no, I think that one fits perfectly. The idea is that men who sit in those tiny fucking seats that they have on buses and subways and stuff have their legs too far apart, and it crowds out people next to them.
And also, it's an irksome image to look upon.
Yeah. So,
to put it nicely.
As someone who owns a pair of testicles, like... It's extremely uncomfortable to sit with your legs, like, really close together on those tiny, tiny seats they have on subways. Like, I'm not a big, like, person. Like, I don't have a lot of girth as it were. Like
He's not a thick boy.
I'm not a thick boy. I do have thick legs though. All those squats. But no, that being said, it's very uncomfortable to sit like that. So you got to spread at least a little bit. But you do see the occasional example of someone being an absolute jackass and like sitting with their feet like 6 feet apart, like. But normally
6 feet apart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the
That's
like long.
Bigger than you, Kaiser.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm being exaggerating, more like 3 or 4 feet, but still, they like. But I've only ever seen people do that when like the subway car is almost empty, and there's no one on it, and there's plenty of room to spread out. So, yeah. But then, what are we gonna do something about shopping spreading? I've seen plenty of women who have like 18 shopping bags in the seats next to them. Like, what are we gonna do about them? Like, if I have a bunch of bags and stuff, I'm courteous. I put them on the floor. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. One of the people on that subway video where they had their wife's bag between their legs because they were like holding onto it for them. The person came over and gave that person a go,
So here's my contention about this. I think that this is an issue that was unnecessarily gendered. Like, why can't we just say you're a jackass if you take up multiple seats and you're not obese? If you're obese, okay, fine, you can only hold your blubber in so much, but.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. That was a really bad way to put that. Sorry. No, but seriously, to put it in a more serious fashion, if you are obese, it's understandable that you're going to take up more than the seat that you're actually in, especially on, like I said, the tiny seats they normally have on subways.
Yeah.
But if you're like if you're like a normal body size and you are taking up multiple seats around you, either physically or with the crap that you have with you, that's not and it's a crowded subway. If it's empty, who gives a shit? But if it's a crowded subway and you're taking up multiple seats and there are people standing and you don't need to be, then yeah, you are being a dick.
Yeah. And I would like to say alright, for now, let's just call it spreading, because I think we can agree that it's not specifically men that do it.
It isn't.
I am someone who does that, right? Because, and this is, again, going back to the whole crowded seats thing, my legs...
You have like 18-foot long legs.
Right? They quite often cannot fit. If it's on like a bus or something, quite often the seats are too close that I cannot put my legs straight.
Well, this was kind of the point that I was making earlier, like about it being uncomfortable. Yeah. Like I was a sprinter in high school. Like I can squat like nearly 300 pounds. Like I was we were making a joke. I have thick legs. And it is extremely uncomfortable to sit with my legs very close together. Not even uncomfortable, sometimes painful. So this is the other thing that people aren't taking into account. They think that they're just doing it, to be a dick to people around them. It sometimes isn't like...
Sometimes they don't have a choice, yeah.
Well, not that they don't have a choice. It's just the choice is to, inch in on somebody else's space nearby or be in pain.
Yeah. I have actually apologized to people in the past. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just...
You
I can't fit.
It's like, I'm sorry, my legs are cramping up here.
Yeah. Normally I'd fold them under the chair, if I can. But then you kind of lose blood.
It's been kind of... This is not related to this in particular, but it's sort of related. So the ceiling in my car, it's kind of low, and the seats can't be pushed down that much. It's funny whenever This was like a year or so ago. I was driving. I was up at Jesse's place, and I was driving him to pick up food for. I think we were. It was like a New Year's party for 2019 to 2020, and so I was driving him to the store to pick up like the food he'd ordered, and Jesse's a tall guy. He's about your height actually, maybe a little shorter. And he can't fit in the car. So his head is like touching the ceiling when he sits in my passenger seat.
Yeah.
I will admit to getting a bit of amusement out of that. But I think there are two issues with the whole man-spreading thing. One, you're attributing it just to one gender. When maybe because of physical discomfort, yes. There's pretty much only one gender that's going to be doing that because they're physically uncomfortable. But the problem is the person is taking up, more space than they actually need. Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
It's always perplexed me because this was something that was big back in like 2015, 16, and 17. That's when I first heard about it, and I actually hadn't heard about it since.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's more of a thing over here because we're a lot less. We we don't vocalize if we have an issue over here. We keep it down inside of us and let it boil over until we get home, and then we complain about it.
Yeah, that's that could be.
Whereas I feel like in America, if someone's like encroaching into space, you just be like, "Excuse me,"
yeah,
kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Or
you just kind of subtly shove them.
So yeah, sorry, that was a very kind of a very pointless topic, but one that's also kind of interesting to talk about.
A topic that, though pointless, filled the time.
Yeah,
it was a throwback for me. I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, you were passionate about it.
Well, it's something that I heard a lot about and thought a lot about years ago.
Yeah.
So I already had a fairly well-formed opinion about it. It's just an opinion that I had to dust off because I haven't thought about it in years.
Right.
Oh, man. All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about? We're right at the end of segment one.
Not particularly, I don't think.
All right. Well, then let's end it there. This will be the end of segment one of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you for listening, and you will hear us both again momentarily.